guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover my life, how I'm tackling debt, prioritizing self-care while maintaining balance. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys 5 tips that I utilize to pay off 4 of my student loans in 2 years. If you guys are new to this channel, be sure to check out my last video, which covers how I got into so much student loan debt. As mentioned in my previous video, I graduated with 6 figures of debt, so be sure to check that out. I will be sure to link it in the cards. But without further ado, let's get into those tips. So my first tip is to create a plan for your money. Yes, you need a plan. If you don't have a plan, you are setting yourself up to fail. And what is a plan for your money, right? It's creating your budget. So at the beginning of every month, or personally I like to do it a few days before, you should set up your budget. So at the top, you should have the income sources that you're going to be bringing in, and then you should have several different categories that take you through what you need to spend throughout the month. You want to make sure that everything is allocated for to really show you what you're spending or what you need to spend. So I have a good amount of categories in my budget. I'm gonna just read them through just to give you guys an idea of what I set out. So I have an income category, I have a giving category, a savings category, a student loan category, a food category, a lifestyle category, a transportation category, a housing category, and an insurance category. So there's a lot of categories there, but it's just a way to kind of organize, and then also it allows me to look at each of the categories from a percentage standpoint. So say if I see that my lifestyle category is shooting way up, I'm like, okay, next month I need to look at that because that's not what I want to do. I want to be making sure that my student loan category is actually the one going up. So that's just a little thing that I do. So just to kind of walk you through, I'll go through my lifestyle category and just tell you what some of those line items are, just to give you guys some idea. So in lifestyle, I have a clothing budget. So every single month I give myself a little bit of money for a clothing budget. It's not that I spend it necessarily, but I am trying to upgrade my wardrobe and try to get some new pieces that are kind of like fit into more of like a capsule wardrobe. So that's something that I'm trying to like build, but it's just whenever I happen to spend it, it's spend, and if I don't spend it, I don't spend it. Another one is sports and entertainment. So it's just like a fun money category for things that I want to do in the month. So whether that be like, it's fall, right? So you might want to go apple picking or pumpkin picking or go to a winery. So things like that. And then I have a miscellaneous thing. So say if something kind of like goes over, or I just didn't really plan for something, I kind of just have a little buffer for that. And then I have like a personal care budget, right? So say if I need to get toiletries, or say if I wanted to get some like beauty type items, things like that, that's kind of where all that lives. So those are just kind of like an idea. I could go through each one of these, and I will eventually when I do one of my budgeting videos, but just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of that. So like I said, what you want to do really is create a plan for your money. You need to know what is going in, what's coming in, and what's going out, right? If you don't have a plan for your money, you're setting yourself up to fail. I can't say that enough. So make sure you create a budget. My second tip is learning to say no. You can't say yes to everything. It's just not possible. And you honestly can't afford it at this point, right? So if you really have a goal to be able to pay off debt, you have to learn to say no. I remember having a conversation with one of my very, very close friends, and they're like, you know, we just graduated school not too long ago, and you know, everybody wants to go on trips because we're all making this new money, and actually like real money that is like, you know, actually substantial. And I was always saying no to trips, and you know, it was a hard conversation to have because obviously I wanted to go on the trips, I want to spend time with my friends, but at the end of the day, I knew that I needed to save accordingly to be able to afford the vacation and the time period that it was going to happen and it was just going to be impossible for me to attend. So I knew right away, like, hey, no, I'm not going to be able to go. So learning to say no is very, very important. And then also setting the boundaries for your friends to know, like, this is why I'm saying no, right? So that they don't think that you're just blowing them off, because communication in this process is so, so important. And if they're truly your friends, right, they're gonna want you, they're gonna want the best for you. They're gonna want to support you in any way that they can. So definitely learning to say no is a hard one, but an important one, because if you don't set a plan or if you don't learn how to say no and you don't set a plan for when you can say yes and say no, then you're gonna constantly never have enough money at the end of the month to put extra money towards debt. So that's number 2. Number 3 is minimizing your expenses. So when I first started this journey, it was crazy. I remember doing my first budget, and at the end of the month, at the beginning of the month, I was like, oh, I probably spend like $300 on food, right? Like probably $300, no big deal. I think that's how much I spend. And at the end of the month, I realized that I spent over $600 in food. $600 for just myself. I don't have kids. I don't pay for food for like my family. So it was just Courtney paying $600 in food. And I just felt like really disgusted by that number, mainly because I was like, okay, I really don't need to be putting that much money towards food, and that extra money could be going towards debt. So I knew that that was something that I could fit immediately, but you know, looking at your expenses is just so important, because you'll be shocked by some of those. Another thing is to look at your subscriptions, right? Like, which ones are you no longer utilizing? Which ones are you underutilizing, where you can kind of save that to your pocket? Which ones are really no longer bringing you joy, but they're taking your coin from your bank account? Those are all things that you want to minimize. So take a look, audit your bank statement and look at your reoccurring expenses and see what you can cut back. My 4th tip is utilizing a budgeting app. I think it's so essential to do this. Before I started like taking this seriously, I used to write my budget on paper, but it wasn't like a good use of time, because I could never check in to see where I was. And then if I was doing like a lot of adding and subtracting and figuring out how much money I had spent for the month. And it was just like, if I left it at home, then I wouldn't know where I was or how much I had saved for things. So I think getting a budgeting app is super, super cool. I personally use the Every Dollar app, and it's absolutely amazing. It allows you to add multiple income streams. It allows you to create sinking funds. Sinking funds are amazing, and I could totally do another video on that if you guys are interested. And you know, it just really shows everything in one place. And the best thing that I like about the app is that once you create a transaction in the app, it subtracts from that amount. So say if you say, okay, I'm gonna have $40 for gas, and say if you use $20, then it shrinks your remaining budget to $20. So I think it's just a good way. I kind of utilize the app as my wallet, even though I have like more money in my account. I utilize that as a framework to show where what money I have left for the month. So I definitely recommend getting a budgeting app. My next tip is to utilize visuals. I am a visual learner. I love visuals, so I would recommend utilizing visuals to along your journey, just as motivational purposes. And I'll put in a link really quick to show you the visuals that I use. Coming live from my debt-free wall. This is my debt-free wall. So you can see my starter emergency fund, the 4 student loans that I paid off, and my debt-free paper. So that's all of them. Like I said, it's just really, really motivating. It's fun to color, and it just keeps you on track with your goals. Yes, so you know, just having visuals really like makes you feel motivated. It makes you feel like you're going somewhere. It makes you feel like proud to just fill in those lines. I've never been so happy to color something. Visuals are awesome because it's really in your face, and it shows you like, okay, I'm not gonna get this because I know it's gonna deter me from my goal, and I really want to get to coloring another line. And that's something that's real, and I like to keep them in front of me in my room. You could actually see it in the mirror over here, but I like to keep it in front of me just so every single time I wake up I know what I'm working towards, and I can stay focused. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, be sure to like down below. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.